ball.
Okay, we're live. Here we go. We have subjects and verbs, and we are looking at those. Okay, and then if you learn the pattern of conjugation, which means how does the verb change to fit the subject, in the past tense, then we should be able to identify the past tense. Or, if we know the present tense, which we mostly do, we'll know that it's present tense, not past tense. So, if the question is this present or past? We can figure out one or the other or both. Okay, so let's say the subject is the person doing the verb, like the sentence, he throws the ball. What's the verb? Throws. That's like the action word. So who's doing the throw? He or ball?
He.
He. Okay, here's a trickier one. The table is heavy. What's the action? What's the verb? Is. That's not that action-y. So what's the subject?
Table.
The table. Okay, good. So in Spanish, we have basically 6 possible ways to conjugate a verb. And really, we have 5 because sorry, Spain, we're leaving you out. So we have yo. What's yo mean? I. Good. And we have tú. What's tú mean? You. Good. Those ones are easy. And then, so that's singular. It's me. So we call first person. First person. Singular. You is then second person. Go give me some more paper. Singular. And then, so what's third person singular? He or she or usted, which we won't explain right now.
It's not going to be on anything we do.
We're just building to it. It's also everything else, like the dog, the table, or the planet, the world. There's infinite things that can be this. So this one can only be yo, this one can only be two, this one can be multiple things. Mm-hmm. So far, so good? Mm-hmm. But it can only be how many things?
3, well, 1, 2, or 3.
No. But when it's a subject, it's always singular, not plural, right?
Yeah.
So it can be he, that's one
What
he.
about
It can be the dog, but that's
they?
one dog.
Oh,
We're getting there. We're getting there. So these are third person singular. Okay? Mm-hmm. Hold that thought. Now we have plural. So first person plural is any group of people, but it has to include who?
We.
Well, we includes me. Includes me. All right? So we have nosotros. What's nosotros mean?
We.
Us or we. Sorry. And then it's also somebody else and I. Right? It's the class and I, my friend and I. That's first person plural because I'm a part of it, right? Mm-hmm. Second person plural. Sorry, Spain, we don't care. Third person plural for the purpose of this video. Third person plural is like
He and I.
no I. It's he and he. All those he's, we would say what? Like if say, there goes Thomas and John and Frank.
They.
Blank, they. Yeah. So they is the most common. That is third person and it's plural. They. And why is then there's tons of ways you can say they. They, if it's all girls. Ustedes, that actually means you guys, which we don't need to talk about, but just remember. There's also, if we're talking about the dogs, there's more than one dogs, and that's the same as they. They all share the same verb conjugations. The planets, the players, whatever. Las amigas, the friends who are girls. So, those are the subjects, and when you apply them to the present tense, they all follow the same pattern. When you apply them to the preterite past, they all follow the same pattern. And when you apply them to the imperfect, which we spent more time on, they all follow the same pattern. So what are these patterns? Here's the pattern. The patterns are like this. For every Spanish verb, it's going to end consistently, almost, in the same way. Okay, so over here we have first person. Sorry. Over here we have singular. Over here we have what?
Plural.
Plural. And then we have first person, second person, third person. So, just refresher. What's our first person singular? Yo. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be yo. The yo form. A second person singular? Two. Good. It's a third person singular. There's lots of different ones, but you got it. El, ella, usted. First person plural.
We.
Nosotros, we, yep. And then this one we can skip because that one is only in Spain. And then third person plural is not he but they, which is ellos, ellas, ustedes. So often it's formatted like this. And when you look on the video, the chart is formatted like this. It doesn't have to be. The chart on the wall is just vertical. All right, so let's say you have, let's get rid of this. Let's make this our preterite tense ending. This is one of the past tense. Okay, so stay with me. There's three kinds of verbs in Spanish. There's verbs that end with AR. There's verbs that end with ER. Yeah. Verbs that end with IR.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to put this word here because it's really helpful. Ayer. What's ayer mean?
It's past.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
So
okay,
when-
because is that the one that you do in like the
Hoy
spell
o
out?
ayer. Yes. Yes.
So ayer.
It literally just means yesterday.
Okay.
But if we're talking about things that happened yesterday
It would
or last night, it would be past, and it's often the past preterite.
That makes a lot more sense. 'Cause
Oh.
I thought it just meant past. and I
Woo!
was like,
Ah! Yeah, I know, that's confusing for me. So, if we're looking at a verb and it ends with this. Sorry. If it's an AR verb, it's going to end with A with that accent. Okay, so let's do another sheet of paper. Tell me a verb you know. Any verb you know. You don't need to put that on it. Just,
like a word.
como se dice he walks? How would you say that?
Camina.
Yeah, camina. All right, so that is an AR verb. So an AR verb, we have camina. That's present tense, he or she walks, right?
Mm-hmm. Wait, so would past be camina with that?
Depends. If it's I walked, it would be camine.
If it was I
If it's I walked,
walked.
camine. But if it's you walked,
Camine.
that's present tense. So the chart you're looking at in those videos has all these things on it, same as the wall, and I'll let you keep this. Aste. So if it's you walked, we wouldn't say camine, because that's I walked. We'd say what? Caminaste. So you don't have to know how to do this. You just have to know how to know it when
I
you
just
see
kind
it.
of have to know it. Kind of like the subject verb thing.
Totally. And you can look at the chart. So
Okay, so
over here, estamos filmando. Though this one is tricky because it's an O, but don't confuse it with the present tense because it's an O with an accent. So if we want to say she walks, we go camino. And then this one,
Does it always has the accent?
yes,
Okay.
always. And if it
For
doesn't have
past?
it, then it's not the past. Well,
That's why for some of the ones that have the O on the end, it's like past tense and so that's why it wouldn't be yo.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Now the tricky part is the nosotros because it looks the same as the present tense. So in this case, you need context. If it says we walk today, it's walk. If it says we walked yesterday, it's yesterday. But you don't know which one it is without context because they both say caminamos.
Okay.
Okay?
So
So,
those would be the ones that have like ayer at the end of it.
yes, exactly, exactly. And then the eos one, the third person plural, is Aaron. All right? So how would you say they walked? You'd say ka, mi, what? Caminaron. All right. Two more. So we have, the next one is ER verbs, and the ER ending is E. So give me what's a verb that ends with an E that you know?
TNA.
Yeah, it's irregular.
Tuesday?
Not quite. How about corre? Corre good?
Yeah, that's run.
Yes. So the verb is actually correr. So if we say corre, that's present tense, talking about someone else. He or she runs. But we want to say, I ran yesterday. Can you believe it? I ran yesterday. All right. So we have yo. Oops. And it starts the same, and then the ending has that. No. Yo corrí. See it?
Oh, yeah, because it's an ER verb, so.
Yeah. And this one is going to look a lot like this. Well, see, it's one letter. It's got the accent mark.
It's just confusing because the AR has the E and then the ER has the I.
I know,
and the
totally.
IR has the A.
Yeah, but you don't have to know all that. You just need to know it's past tense. If it ends with an accented mark, it's past tense. Right? For now, that's enough. So you ran yesterday. We'd put cor and then tag that on and be what? Corriste. No accent. And then now here we have he or she ran. It has that. Yo. So what would it be for he or she ran? El. Put it together. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Corrió. Now we're back to the nosotros form, which is always a little tricky. Therefore, we need context. So, oh, actually, we don't in this case, because it'd be corremos, corrimos. Don't worry about it. Okay, so we ran yesterday would be nosotros corrimos.
Mm-hmm.
Skip that. Up here we have, similar to Aaron, we have Hierron. All right, so tag it on to the end. I want to say they ran. What would I do? How would I say it? Exactly, corrieron. And now the IR verbs, this is good news because they're like exactly like these ones, almost, pretty much. Iste, yo with an accent, imos, and hierron. Same as that. See it? See that? So we don't need to do one. If you see verbs that end with any of these things, you know it's preterite past tense. But there's another past tense called the give me some more paper. Called the imperfect past tense, okay? And those ones are a lot easier than the preterite past tense.
Okay.
So then we have AR verbs, and we have ER and IR, and they share the same ending, so we can do it like that. All right, so we don't need you. How's it going? You said not good. Oh, man. Okay, so our endings here, all right? So there's two past tense for our purposes.
Mm-hmm.
There's preterite, which we just did.
Right.
They all end like this. And you can keep that.
Okay.
Make copies for your friends. And then there's the imperfect, which is also the past tense. They have different uses. They're not interchangeable. We don't need to worry about that. Aber. Yeah, does that look familiar?
Yeah, that's past.
Abas. Aber again. What's this one?
Most.
Yeah, this most stuff always shows up here. Vais, no thanks. Y
Nothing there.
ever. Yeah.
Ever.
There is in Spain. Aban.
So what would it be?
Abais.
Abais.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this is ia with an accent. And the to form always has this S on it. Not always, but in this case it always does. Ias. You'll see ia, once again, these two are the same. Context is important. Aba, aba. And so what do you think is nosotros? If we got ia, ias, ia, what do we got next? Íamos, right. Íamos. And then ian. Okay, quickly, we'll do a couple verbs. Can I get it in there? Can I get it in there? I think we can. All right, so we have the same ones. What do we have? Hablar, caminar. We have caminar, and we're talking about what we used to do all the time. I used to walk all the time. What?
No.
Put that on.
Camina.
No, put that on. Caminaba. So if you see caminaba, are we talking present or past?
Past.
Boom, you got it. So what if it says cami two for? There you go. Caminabas. He used to walk all the time, that guy. His pedometer exploded. It was so dangerous. Caminaba, muy bien. We used to walk. Caminabamos. Caminabamos. And then they used to walk. Ellos, what? Caminaban. So if you see those, you know it's past tense. Or if you know it's past tense, you look for one of those.
Okay.
And then there's only one more. ER-IR. What was our ER-IR verb? Correr. Perfect. We have walking and running. Look at us. Okay. Correr is an ER verb. It works the same way. So we go, I used to run all the time. Yo corría. Where did you run? In Korea. You used to run all the time too. Say it for me. Corrías. Good. She used to run all the time. Ella corría. You okay?
Mm-hmm.
Is this making any sense?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So the next part of this.
I'll just have to do it, like look at it when I do my quiz.
Yeah, totally. And maybe if it's big like this, it'll help better than like having it small on your phone, you know? If you just have this piece of paper next to you. Because I'll let you take it home. Totally chill. Korean.
Yes.
Boom. There's a couple irregulars, and I don't think they show up on that quiz. So we're going to ignore those for now. There's actually 3. Here's what I'll do. I will add to this. I'll walk through somebody's wrong answers and test it against this info. Past versus present. So you have 2 kinds of questions. This is someone's test. They got some right, they got some wrong. If you saw the first part, I will refer to those things, those papers we just drew. I don't have them in front of me, but I do have this. See my mouse? The same thing you have. It's a little small, but it is also on the wall, and you are free to make it bigger or Google image search, whatever. So this is the exact same information. So, number 1, the question is, la ventana estaba abierta. Is this past or is it present? How do we know? The window, something opened. Estaba, so there's 2 ways to know. First of all, is open is está, and it's not that, so we would guess past. But it ends with aba, and down here, anywhere, do you see verbs ending with aba? Yes, you do. El, that would be the window, estaba. So that would be pasado, is what you want. Number 2. Cuando el perro salió, mi hermano blank por él. When the dog salió, what is that? That's a verb. So that is past tense. He left the dog. My brother, the subject is my brother. Don't be fooled. We already have the subject dog and left. This time the subject is my brother. He left. So buscamos would be we left. Buscó would be the answer. He left. Busca would be present tense. Sorry, not left. That's the searches for. We searched for. He searched for. Busca is present tense, so that's no way Jose because we're in the past tense. See that? And then busqué is I searched for. But we're talking about my brother, so busco. Hopefully, you're not guessing. Mi amigo fue al partido conmigo. Okay, that one's irregular. The only way you're going to know is you're going to see, well, I don't know any of those words. My friend, something, park, with me. Fue is the verb. That does look like a present tense verb, but it is irregular past tense for ir. That's one worth knowing, is ir. Okay, number 4. Ella comió pan ayer. Is it past or present? Well, if you look at the chart, which you don't have right here, but you do on the wall, I-O with an accent, where does it show up? Does it show up? If it does, it's past tense. Well, I happen to know it would be right there. Comió, there it is. So that's past. But what else can we look at? What's this word say? It says ayer, yesterday. If it happened yesterday, it's probably pasado. Número 5, we have cuando el perro sale, mi hermano siempre blank por él. So now we have the same question except, kind of, when the dog not left, but what sale? Leaves, present tense. So now we're in the present tense, and this was the verb that tells you. When my dog leaves, my brother always searches for it. So we want the present tense busca. And that one you just have to know because we have busca as one of our vocab words. But if you know sale is present tense, which hopefully you do, you can figure out that these other ones are past tense and or they don't match up with mi hermano, my brother. That one's a little hard, I'll give you that. Los amigos buscan la fiesta. So our verb is the left friends search for the party. What's buscan? Is it present or is it past? Buscan is present tense. So present tense. So how do we know? 2 ways. 1, we look at the wall, or 2, there is nothing that has an AN ending. There's an N, but it's Aaron and Ieron, or Aban and Ian, and this is none of those, so it has to be present tense. Get it? 7, cuando yo llamo a mi hermano, él nunca me. Okay, here we have the first part of the sentence has yo llamo. Is that past or present? Turns out that is present. When I call my brother, he never responds. Responde would be he never responds in the present tense. And this exact question was on our esponja the other day. Yo levanté el sombrero del suelo. The verb is levanté. I lifted the hat from the floor. How do you know it's past tense though? So it ends with E with an accent. Does that show up anywhere? If it does, it's past tense. Ba-boom, right there. Yo form, AR, preterite. Okay, number 9. Ella blanca la casa todos los días. Todos los días is every day. So this one is actually a little hard because regresó is the right subject, but it's the wrong tense. We would need regresaba, and we don't have it, and you don't know that, but that's okay. Regresa, I should really take this question out. It's a little too much, but regresa makes sense. She returns to the house every day. I'll try to remember to take that out at the time of this recording. We'll see. Ella levantó el sombrero del suelo. Levantó has O with an accent. If that appears anywhere, it's past tense in this chart. So AR or AR. O with an accent. There it is. past tense. Number 11, yo blank con mis amigos ayer. We have yo, and it's got to be yo form, which is either this or, that's the same thing as this, or this, right? It's an AR verb, habla. So I spoke with my friends yesterday. Ayer means yesterday. Past tense would be hablé, like that, hablé. I know. Hablo is present tense. Hable is past tense. These other ones are not yo forms. This is he, she speaks present tense. He, she spoke past tense. And these two are the really only options. And then we have present or past again. Usted vuela porque tiene muchas plumas. You, sir, fly because you have a lot of feathers. This one, you can look at vuela. It ends with A, with no accent, nothing, no aba, no ia, and it's our vocab word. There's another good trick to remember. Ready? If the word looks exactly the way we learned it on the vocab list, it is present tense because our vocab list is present tense. Vuela is one of those. Marcos y yo salimos ayer. This one you need the context of ayer. That's why it's in italics, because I'm trying to tell you, hey, this is the only way you'll know. Because if it didn't say ayer, we wouldn't know. It could be either one, because these ones are tricky. But in this case, we did it yesterday, pasado. If you see ayer, it's pasado. And 14, ella blank a la casa ayer. Oh my gosh, what did I just say about ayer? That's right. It's pasado. So we're talking about ella. Regresa is present tense, so that's no good. Regresaron, aron, you'll see here, that's they. Regresó, with an accent, that is she. So that works. Let's just keep going. Regresan is present tense. That does not work with ella. And then two more. El perro lloraba toda la noche. Aba. Hopefully you figured it out by now. If you see aba, it is past tense. And then the last one. Tú vas al cine todos los días. You go to the movies all of the days. Present tense. Because if it's you went, it'd be fuiste. Okay? I hope that helped. The first part was probably better. This is a long video, but it might be worth it. Ciao.